Keralis, my fellow log brother, welcome to the first actual official business meeting of GIGALOGS Business Company Incorporated.
Ren, when I mentioned I want to have a bra inside, I meant a little like barbecue thingy, not bringing the whole bride location into the office.
You asked for it,
This is
and
insane.
so you got it. Here we are.
Is it still available over there, or did you remove the whole thingy, my Jiggy?
The bride site's still available there also.
So you just rebuilt it over here. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. So this is the first official meeting in the new office, which is a little bit, You definitely brought the outdoors indoors.
We started our company in a garage, right? And now we've moved into our Silicon Valley HQ.
It's amazing. I loved it. I loved it so much. You've outdone yourself, Ren.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
Listen, we have got, as always, some very tasty things to eat. I have brought you some rare and exotic rabbit flesh for today's braai.
Okay. From which type of rabbit animal?
The cutest rabbits I could find.
Or the fluffy ones, which you have as pet bunnies.
Super
fluffy. Kind of slaughter.
Yeah,
exactly. They kind of disappear for the kids.
Very tasty too. On top of that, Keralis, this amazing meeting room has reminded me of a real life experience that I once had when I used to work in the real world. Do you remember those days?
No, never. I've never worked in the real world.
Oh, you never did? Okay.
But no. I've done it. I kind of forgot about that because, nothing you want to remember, to be honest.
Yes. Well, I used to work in an international team, and one of my favorite meetings happened every few months ago when the Japanese team of my company would come over to London to come and meet with us. And a tradition that they had is that they would always give everybody a gift, which I thought was really, really awesome. And I promised myself that if I ever was the CEO of a real company, that's what I would do. We're CEOs of GIGALOGS, my friend. A gift for you.
Give me a gift. What? Okay. That definitely looks like another bunny. No, that's a rabbit foot.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, almost threw it in the fire. Thank you so much.
That's my pleasure.
Ren, you know what? I don't have any gift, but you can totally toot my toots.
Oh, yes. That's a perfectly good enough gift for me. There we go. Toot has happened.
Gift Baxi. Thank you so much, a rabbit foot. I'm going to keep this forever.
I think we have now achieved all of our traditions for the GIGALOGS meeting. Shall we get down to business?
Please, let's do that.
Okay.
To get profits. What? Okay, Ren, what is this?
All right, let me explain what's happening here.
What have you done?
Okay, so we got a couple of bar graphs over here. Some graphs showing both log sales and actual GIGALOGS merch sales. So please go take a seat, Keralis. I'm going to give you a little sales report.
Pitch?
For this month, okay? So, sales report of GIGALOGS Incorporated. Sales report 1. This week, or the last couple of weeks, top seller Birch, followed very closely by Mangrove and Acacia in third position for top sellers.
So, Birch, Mangroovy, and Acacia.
Yep, and we've approximately sold out of all 3 of these, and some really great profits have been acquired by the company this week. Beautiful.
Amazing, splendid.
Splendid indeed. On this side of things, we got the IRL merch. For those of people that have been watching. Oh yeah, because there's smoke.
Flames of fire there. Yes, smoke.
For those that watched our last meeting, we released some actual IRL merch last month in December, actually. Yeah, and you guys have been really enjoying it.
I want to see you modeling that, right?
Oh yeah. I'll get it on.
All right. Okay.
But we've had some great feedback. People have been loving it, and today I had a look at the statistics. Keralis, number 1 top seller, the black GIGALOGS Sunset T-shirt.
Ooh, I love that one. That's my favorite. That's my personal favorite, to be honest.
Oh, and didn't Mythical Sausage get one of those bad boys? I think I saw a picture of him on Twitter in one of those. Yeah, nice.
Oh, he looked so handsome.
He did look handsome. So that's our number 1 seller. By far, by the way. Very, very top seller of all of the merch. Next was the Sunset Jumper. So the black Sunset Jumper, which is nice and warm for winter.
You know what? I don't have that. I need to order myself one of those.
And well, unfortunately, last of the sales with only 1 sale, which might have been may or may not have been me, because my brother wanted one.
What was that?
The black flat cap.
What's wrong with that black flap cap?
I don't know, dude. Nobody likes that one.
Yeah. Well, that's a bummer. How do we get that now figured out? Because we need to...
I don't know.
You can't buy the merch.
You know, if people
yourself?
sometimes people like the merch, sometimes they don't. You know, you don't know what the peeps are going to like. You put some stuff out, and whatever happens, happens.
True, that's true. I'm a hat person. I'm going to order myself one.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
So
I
those
have
are the
the
sales since December. A reminder to everybody out there, these will still be available until the end of January. But after January, Keralis, that's it. This line of GIGALOGS will never be sold ever again anywhere in the world. So that's it.
Funny, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
It is February at this stage.
Ooh, whoops. Yeah, the end of February is the last that you could get the GIGALOGS. So you got a couple weeks left. But after that, they're gone forever. Yeah,
it's a limited edition. It sucks when it happens, you know. But it is what it is.
So those are the sales. I just want to say
like
a really big thank you to all the Rendog viewers and Keralis viewers. Guys, thanks for picking up some of the merch.
Thank you
really
so,
awesome.
so much. Yeah, you guys are amazing. And I love, you know, like I've seen quite a few pictures over on Twitter. People wearing that stuff, and it's just amazing.
It's just
makes me super happy.
It's the first time I've ever had official merch in my 10-year YouTube career. So it's just so exciting for me, which is why I wanted to do this little meeting with you, because I don't know, it feels so cool.
I love it.
It's so exciting.
So Ren,
but yeah, that's
fantastic.
That's it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So we got this. This is going to be available to the end of February. And the biggest seller is the sunset thingies, and the sunset cap is in the last place. Doesn't matter. Nice. You know what? We're doing fantastic anyhow.
Exactly. Keralis, that concludes our very first board meeting. I don't really have anything else to report. I will be restocking GIGALOGS this week. I did a big harvest over at the GigaChopper, so don't worry about restocking. I'll manage that this week.
I get it next time. Yeah.
Aside from that, for the next agenda, I'd like to potentially put on the cards hiring another employee so that we don't have to do so much work around here.
Great. Yeah. Splendid.
Exactly. I think that is deserving of a 2.
Until the next
meeting. Keralis, love your face. We'll see you next time, dude.
Love your face. Woo-woo.
Greetings, cyberdogs and citizens of the Interbubs. This is Rendog and Keralis coming at ya in another Minecraft episode from the HermitCraft server. We're kicking things off today, my friends, from the foundations of Etho and I's mega boat race project that we started a couple of episodes ago. And as you can see, I have been pretty busy out here setting up the foundations of a thing, and also spending quite a lot of time collecting some resources. Because guys, over the next few weeks or so, we're going to be working on this project like nobody's business, because I am so excited to start racing around this giant frozen tundra. It's going to be so awesome. And speaking of resources, that's pretty much what I have been up to for the majority of this week, guys. Oh, of course, other than playing TCG, which is basically all I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. But I've also been focused on our boat project out here, and most especially with collecting one very specific type of block, a red terracotta. Etho and I spent a bit of time the other night going over what we want the boat race to look like, and we fell upon a block palette of red terracotta and quartz blocks, which we're going to be using to line the actual track itself. And so I thought, to get things started today, I would spend a bit of time getting this terracotta, and well, that's exactly what I did. So to start this week off, my first mission was to get a bunch of red terracotta, and I headed over to Azuma's bone shop to get a bunch of bone blocks, and with that bone meal, I started to manually grow a bunch of rose bushes so that we could dye terracotta. I then realized that there might actually be a better way to make a bunch of rose bushes, so headed back to GIGACORP Island and set up a super janky bit of Redstone, which would automagically grow a bunch of rose bushes for us. I mean, one of the jankiest redstone machines that I've ever created in my life, but it did the job and produced hundreds of rose bushes in a pretty quick time. I mean, guys, you know how we roll up in this here business, man. Redstone, it ain't purty, but it works. And so with 9 shulker boxes filled with red dye, which was way too much, it turns out, I headed out to the Mesa mining biome to collect an insane amount of terracotta. I've actually been collecting the terracotta from here every morning for the last couple of days ago, just coming out here and strip mining for 10-20 minutes, and managed to accumulate a bunch of terracotta in a cave hole, and spent pretty much the rest of my morning on Monday turning all that terracotta into red terracotta and then shipping it over to the racecourse track. track. Next step, of course, was to build a nice solid platform for the racing pavilion building itself, and even though I wanted to get started on the build for this episode, I just don't have the resources available right now, plus I'm kind of running out of time to get this episode out. I really am trying to get you guys more episodes more frequently, so projects like this we are going to stretch out over multiple episodes instead of just bashing them out in one episode. But the platform is ready to go, which means we can start working on the racing pavilion really soon. So yeah, this week basically started with a bunch of mining and janky redstoning, and well, I came out here with all of these lovely resources. As you can see, an insane amount of red terracotta. We're going to be using this red terracotta today, actually, to start marking out some of the racetrack. In a minute or two, what I'd like to do is start trying to figure out the course that's going to be going through Section B. This biome over here is what Etho and I have called Section B, and I have an idea where I would like the track to go. I kind of wanted to go around this corner and go through a chicane over here, and then probably go around this little island back there, and then maybe do another re-loop. I got plans, so we're going to use these red terracottas to lay out the track in a minute. But this thing over here, we need to talk about this giant platform of smooth stone. Not exactly the prettiest thing in the world. Let's get the gigabug flying here, guys. Yeah, looking pretty janky. However, this is going to become one of the centerpieces of the boat race, because right on top of this foundation, I will be building the racing pavilion, which I'm going to be calling the loft. And well, I've been sketching out a really cool design for this loft building or this pavilion building in my creative world. And the basic design concept for this pavilion is that it is a ski lodge, right? So imagine, if you will, a super fancy and high class ski lodge in the mountains of the Alps, overlooking the ski slopes and whatnot, right? And after a long day of racing, you would come back to the pavilion and you would have a glass of champagne or something, and you'd be able to look out over the race course through these massive windows. You know, some of the super fancy ski lodges out there, they generally have these huge front-facing window areas where you can see across the huge landscape of the ski slopes and stuff, you know, really cool. So been trying to emulate that vibe in this design. And yeah, we're going to be building that pavilion on top of this foundation over here, and we're going to be calling the pavilion a very strange name. I'm going to be calling the pavilion the Loft. And well, the reason for this is because it came to me in a dream. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I was dreaming the other day that I was streaming, which basically is telling me that maybe I need to get out of the house more. But yeah, I was dreaming that I was streaming, and in my stream dream, or my dream stream, or whatever you want to call it, I asked chat what we should call the pavilion, and somebody in chat said, call it the Loft, and I was like, that is a really cool name for the pavilion, and we're going to call it the Loft. So it doesn't really make sense, but I saw it in a dream, and so now it is so. The pavilion is going to be called the Loft. Yeah, I really do need to get out more, don't I? Alright friends, that's enough tittle-tattle and dilly-dallying for one episode, I think. Let's actually do a little bit of work out here together, okay? I'd like to spend the rest of my afternoon plotting out an initial line for the racetrack here in what Etho and I are calling Section B of the marathon greater mega racetrack that we're going to be designing. And I don't know if this is going to be the final line that we use, but I think just to get the project going and to get some momentum going here, I'd like to plot an initial line of 200 or 300 blocks in this direction, mostly to start getting the juices flowing for the project, you know, to start getting excited about it. And hopefully next time Etho comes out here, he will see that some progress has been made, and he will also start doing some stuff on the race course. And basically the way that we're going to chop this project up, we had a chat about it, is I'm going to be designing the race course in one direction, and Etho will design the race course in the opposite direction, and then at some point we will meet, and that's where the course will come together. And you know, that feels like a pretty organic way to do this and a good way to do this, so that we are both working on separate parts of the course and you guys get to see the entire course being built from two different perspectives. And we thought that might be the best way to present the project to you guys. So hope you guys are as excited about this course as we are. Oh man, Etho and I are chomping at the bit to get this thing finished, but man, there is a ton of work ahead of us, so we need to crack on as fast as possible. That being said, and in case you've been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks, there's a slight distraction happening on the HermitCraft server, and that distraction is called TCG. Yeah, both Etho and I have been very much involved in playing a bunch of TCG, which has meant that the boat race progress has been a little bit slower than we would have liked, but man, TCG has been such a blast. Although guys, I must admit, I've been having a bit of trouble figuring out exactly how to present the TCG content to you guys. Mostly because a game of TCG can take anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour, and there is just so much going on with TCG, with the trading and the booster packs and the deck building and all of that sort of stuff. It's almost like HermitCraft TCG could be its own standalone series. And, if I included all of the TCG stuff I've been doing in a HermitCraft episode, it would be 2-3 hours long. Now, that being said, I'm very much aware that there are a ton of you guys out there that love the TCG content, and there's a few of you guys out there that prefer the more traditional Minecraft content, HermitCraft content. So I've been racking my brain a little bit trying to figure out exactly how to present all of this to you guys so that everybody gets what they want out of the Rendog and Keralis. And what I've decided to do on the TCG front is to create a side series that I'm calling TCG Battles. And in the side series, you can watch my progress through TCG, from the deck building to the games, to the upgrades, to the booster packs, to all of that sweet, sweet stuff. So all the TCG fans, make sure that you save that playlist somewhere, the TCG Battles playlist. I'll add it as a card on this episode and at the end of the video too. And if you want to keep up with my TCG progress on the server, that's going to be the best place to do it, because I'll put all of the best games and stuff in that playlist. And when I do some big upgrades to the deck, or something really epic happens in TCG, like a tournament or a really epic moment or something, then I will include it in the HermitCraft episode content also. So yeah, hopefully that gives all of the HermitCraft traditional Minecraft fans what they want, and it gives all of you awesome TCG fans what you want too. And yeah, it's basically win-win, right? You guys get all the HermitCraft content your heart could desire, and we also make sure that our videos are not like 7 years long. It's the next day in real life cyber digging in dogs, and I've woken up this morning with the spring in my step, because today we get to do some testing of the initial lines that we laid out yesterday. I think I was showing you guys some of that footage while I was talking about TCG. It's actually been a couple of days since I've been on the server, because this weekend I went to play ironically in a IRL Magic the Gathering tournament, which was fantastic. I didn't win, but I had a great time. And yeah, it's been a couple days since I've been on the server. By the way, I've noticed that Etho has been busy also. Have a look over there, man. It looks to be some red terracotta and quartz blocks there, which looks like Etho might have been working on a section of track in that direction. No spoilers in this episode, though. Go check out Etho's episode. Looks like he's been busy, man. Awesome. But for the next part of this episode, I thought, guys, what we could do is test out the line that I designed last week before heading over to the Magic tournament. And if I'm not mistaken, it starts over here. Yes, and the idea was to try and maximize the use of these big spaces over here, right? And yeah, it looks like just a bunch of lines all over the show right now, but I do believe there was method to my madness. That being, you know what, it might actually be easier to look at the course using the Gigabug. Let's get that bad boy out and let's have a look here. I'll try to take you through the logic of what I was thinking here, right? So with this section here, there was like a massive expanse of ice which I wanted to connect into Etho's section of track. So Etho's section will come here. There's the arrows pointing in this direction. And we'll do like a big, nice drifting loop, and then all the way back into this section, and the start and finish line is over there eventually. But for our section that we worked on last week, I wanted to come all the way through this really awesome natural environment, because I think it looks really cool. And then I guess we'll need to fly over here. There is another really big expanse of ice over here on the other side of the massive Christmas presents, and I wanted to make sure that we made use of that space too. And yes, I did add another loop over here, didn't I? So we come screaming at full speed down the straight, around the little island over here, and then there's a nice big drift loop before you head out of this section, which I think Etho and I are calling Section B. And once you finish this section's loop, you go all the way into the Icy Spikes biome, which will be the section of the course that we start working on next. So yeah, that makes absolute sense, guys. Why don't we try and give this bad boy a test run? I guess as we're on the very end of the course and sun is going down, we should probably start from this side. As you can see, I've just finished laying this down, actually, the last time I was out here. And let's see if we can actually do this in a boat nice and smoothly. Next step will probably be on live stream to lay out the quartz and red terracotta to make the actual track. But yeah, that was terrible. It's going to be quite a tight loop there. We might need to expand that loop a bit so that the drift is easier. But yeah, this is not going well. Let's start from the start line, shall we? My goodness, what a sight that is, my friends. The sunset through the pavilion building when you're in here with your cup of champagne. Absolutely glorious. Let's sleep the night away, though, so that we can run this course from the beginning. I mean, you know, this is the direction in which the course is going to be flowing, so I think it's better to test it from this side. Also, by the way, if you're wondering what these are, I just added some signs so that Etho knew what was going on around here when I did this. But yeah, we'll start from this side, right? So let's try this again. I had a bit of a nightmare on the way back, but this is how we're going to be traveling. So we're going to follow this line into this natural chicane area. Let's just get full view here. Full Mario Kart racing status engaged. And I wanted there to be a tricky little chicane here, right? So you got to come around like this and then loop through here. And I guess what we also need to make sure, as this is a race course, is that there are sufficient areas for people to pass each other. We don't want the track itself to be so thin that it's impossible to pass people. And you know, over here might be a place where the racetrack forks to give it to give a chance for some passing. And I guess we might have to expand this little loop here so that it's easier to actually get around it, and maybe you can drift past an opponent. And well, here is the first big drift that I added. And yeah, you'll be able to do a nice drift around here. That might be a potential place to pass somebody, actually. And even over here, it looks like a nice big drift too. And as we head out into the Icy Spike section of the biome race, yeah, there might be a spot to pass over here too. I think that was pretty good. That felt all right. I feel like maybe it's a little bit too tight, most of the course, but we'll only really know once I start adding the barriers. And unfortunately, I can't add any barriers in today's episode because Etho and I need to figure out how to get a bunch of quartz before we can actually start building the rest of the quartz. And I might head over to Doc's initial starting area because I know he's got some stonemasons out there that we might be able to use. But for the initial first feel of the track that we've laid here, guys, I'm happy with that. I think that's going to be great. I think on stream tonight, I will start laying down some of the barriers so that we can get a real feel of how this course might work. We might find some challenges here in this section of the course where there's actually 3 lanes on top of each other. That might be a little bit of a squeeze, and we might need to spread this course out a little bit more, or at least this line might need to, you know, loop a little bit straighter here so that there's space for both of these altitudes. But yeah, lots of work still to do here on the race course, guys. Can't wait to bring you back in the next episode, man. We'll try and make some decent progress on this next time around. But that's going to do it for this episode, I think, guys. I need to go get myself a bunch of quartz so that we can start making barriers. And again, guys, don't forget to go check out the TCG Battles playlist for all of you TCG fans. And make sure you're following my progress in the TCG minigame. And yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming in that playlist too. Anyway, guys, I have a lot to edit, so we're going to say goodbye for now. We will smell you all in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, get your racing helmets on, guys, because next time we're going to be zooming, my friends. Zooming, and I'm just wasting time now, aren't I? See you next episode, guys.